Greetings and welcome back, Grand Adventurers. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and we're visiting Buffalo Pound Provincial Park right outside of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. Come along. This episode of Grand Adventure is sponsored by Etrailer.com, where you'll find thousands of products for RVing, towing, camping, outdoor recreation, vehicles, boating, and more. Click the link in the video description or scan the code on your screen to shop Etrailer.com with Grand Adventure. It's been a crazy start to our 2026 RV season. Last year, we crossed the border into British Columbia within 2 weeks of the same date, encountering beautiful sunshine and 70-degree temperatures in the southern Canadian Rockies at Fernie, elevation 3,300 feet. But this year, following chilly temperatures and ferocious winds across western Nebraska and the Dakotas, we crossed the Canadian border to arrive at Buffalo Pound Lake on May 17th to a high temperature of 37 degrees Fahrenheit and light snowfall. We awoke on our first morning in camp to a prairie draped in white at barely 1,700 feet of elevation. Summer can't really be too far around the corner, can it? Fortunately, the frozen stuff melted as quickly as it arrived, and temperatures rebounded into the 60s during our week here. Buffalo Pound Lake is a long, narrow glacial lake located in the scenic Capone Valley of southern Saskatchewan, about 20 minutes northeast of Moose Jaw and roughly an hour west of Regina. The lake gets its name from the historical practice of the local First Nations peoples, as Canada refers to its Native Americans, who utilize the area's natural rolling hills and coulees as a pound or corral to hunt plains bison. Formed roughly 10,000 years ago by glacial meltwaters cutting through the Capone Valley, the lake is unique because in modern times it's both a major recreational hub and a vital source of drinking water for nearly a quarter of Saskatchewan's population, including both Regina and Moose Jaw. For thousands of years, Buffalo Pound Lake existed as a natural, highly fluctuating body of water, fed by seasonal spring runoff and rains. During drought years, it would become incredibly shallow, stagnant, or occasionally dry up into marshy mudflats. So the Prairie Farm Rehabilitation Administration stepped in during the Great Depression, and in 1939 they constructed this 4,600-foot earth-filled embankment dam at the southeast end of the lake to control the outflows and stabilize the water levels, which officially turned the natural lake basin into a managed reservoir covering 7,000 acres and roughly 18 miles long. The Saskatchewan Water Security Agency opens and closes upstream and downstream gates to keep the lake at a steady, predictable depth year-round, the maximum of which is only a mere 18 feet. Much of the lakeshore is lined by Buffalo Pound Provincial Park, where we're spending our week, and a week may not be long enough to enjoy everything that this wonderful area has to offer. The park features a wide double-slip concrete main boat launch with a filleting station. In warmer weather, the lake is popular for power boating, water skiing, and tubing. Anglers frequently target walleye, northern pike, and yellow perch. The lake also holds lake whitefish and the bigmouth buffalo, a federally protected native species of special concern that looks similar to a carp but has no barbels. Those who prefer trout will find a fully stocked fishing pond within the park for their needs. the lake's steady valley winds make it popular for sailing, while the calmer marshy ends are perfect for kayaking and canoeing. Buffalo Pound Provincial Park maintains a captive herd of plains bison in a large paddock nestled among the hills, which visitors can view. However, the enclosure is huge, and we couldn't find the herd, so these were the only bison we observed. The park features 2 public sandy beaches, a heated outdoor leisure pool, 2 disc golf courses totaling 27 holes, and mini golf. In winter, the valley becomes a hotspot for ice fishing, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing across more than 15 miles of quiet trails, and an epic tobogganing hill right by the visitor center that is lit up for night. There's a daily admission fee of $11 Canadian per day, or $42 Canadian per week charged for Saskatchewan provincial parks, even for those with paid camping reservations. We're spending a total of 3 weeks camping in the province's parks this season, so it made more sense for us to purchase an annual entry pass for $82 Canadian. At today's exchange rate, that got the daily charge down to a far more reasonable US $2.85 per day. We'll show you the camping, the hiking, and the biking, and bring you to fascinating nearby Moose Jaw, right after we share an important message from our valued video sponsor, Etrailer. Whether you need products for your RV, boat, trailer, vehicle, hunting and fishing, off-roading, and more, our video sponsor, Etrailer, has you covered. Best of all, you'll find over 100 US-based enthusiast customer service reps ready to help via phone, chat, or email, both before and after the sale. These folks have used themselves the products that you're shopping for, and you won't find a more knowledgeable team anywhere to help you with your outdoor project. Click the link in the video description or scan the code on your screen to shop etrailer.com with Grand Adventure. For RVers and campers, the provincial park offers multiple campgrounds, ranging from rustic dry camping sites to spacious gravel sites with 15, 30, or 50 amp electrical and full hookups that can accommodate larger trailers and big rigs. For those without an RV, the area also features unique accommodations like fully equipped Camp Easy yurts and a lakeside eco lodge. We're paying just over $50 Canadian per night, or around $37 US at today's exchange rate, for a 30 amp full hookup back inside in the park's Valley campground. If I'm going to be honest though, this may well be one of the most poorly designed campsites we've set up in. For one thing, the site is so unlevel that our driver's side wheels lifted off the ground while leveling. I'll take the heat for that, for I should have blocked the wheels prior to leveling. For another, the power pedestal is inexplicably on the passenger or wrong side of the rig. Fortunately, we carry a 50 amp extension cord for just such anomalies. I've looked at other sites in this campground and ours is the only one set up this way. Finally, the sewer connection is somehow behind the RV, and our sewer run is therefore uphill all the way too. I'll add that thoughtless campers aren't limited to boondocking or the United States. We arrived to find this site left filthy by the previous campers, who left food and trash scattered throughout the site. Despite these flaws, our site is spacious and quiet, allowing us to enjoy the songs of the prairie's prolific bird population throughout our stay. Everything worked out well in the end. Some of the sites here may be reserved on a seasonal basis. One thing park officials didn't tell us was that we'd be sharing our campsite, as there's a very active ground squirrel who has already set up camp in Valley Campground Site number 2. In addition to the Valley Campground, there are 7 other campgrounds in this expansive provincial park, 6 of which are available to RVs. The key to this park is its extensive network of nearly 20 miles of world-class mountain biking and countless scenic hiking trails. For bikers, it features everything from fast twisting single tracks through the coulees to a dedicated skills bike park with drop lines and a pump track. A far more serene experience may be found at the lake's southeastern end, near the bison paddock, where the park's Nicolle Flats Nature Area focuses on the marsh below the lake's supplemental dam. Here, a unique floating boardwalk several hundred yards long extends into the marsh, which is phenomenal for bird watching and viewing migrant waterfowl. After walking the boardwalk, you may continue along the edge of the marsh on the Nicolle Flats Trail. Or you may also enter the nature area from the other end, off 10th Mile Road, where we'll take a short hike to an historic 19th century stone homestead. I'm not used to hiking with my dog on a leash, but it's required here. Besides, now that Zoe is completely blind, it's easier to keep her on track this way. I strongly suggest long pants and tall socks, for there's no shortage of ticks out here whatsoever. The homestead was established by Charles Nicolle, a veteran of the Northwest Mounted Police in the mid-1870s. After his service, he chose to settle in the fertile Capone Valley, establishing his farm, which he named Mapleford in 1881. The Nicolle family lived, worked, and farmed this specific plot of land for nearly 80 years, until 1959. While the original barns and outbuildings have long since vanished, the centerpiece of the property is this incredible fieldstone house, built by Charles and his family in 1903. Every single stone used to build the two-story structure was gathered by hand from the surrounding valley hills, hauled in by horse and cart, and meticulously shaped to fit together. Family lore notes that to build the second story, the heavy fieldstones had to be laboriously pushed up wooden planks, using nothing but a wheelbarrow and brute strength. While the roof has been replaced by the park to preserve the structure from the elements, the walls and the shell of the home are completely original and stand incredibly strong against the elements today. We spotted the Nicolle family name outside the quaint St. Columba Anglican Church, built nearby in 1898 and surrounded by open prairie farmland as far as the eye can see. Following a quick ad break, we'll bring you to fascinating Moose Jaw, so stay tuned. The surrounding prairie of southern Saskatchewan is easily the flattest, most open, and most featureless terrain that I've ever witnessed. It's about a 20 to 25 minute drive across this featureless landscape from camp to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan's fourth largest city, and one which wears its colorful past entirely on its sleeve. Self-proclaimed as Canada's most notorious city, this vibrant prairie hub combines a cheeky bootlegging-inspired heritage with thermal spas, historic brick architecture, and expansive urban park spaces. Moose Jaw's Main Street looks like a vintage postcard, with beautifully preserved early 20th century brick buildings and over 40 massive hand-painted outdoor historical murals. During the Prohibition era of the 1920s, Moose Jaw was a major distribution hub for rum runners, smuggling alcohol south into the United States via the railroad. Local police chief Walter P. Johnson took a remarkably pragmatic approach to the city's vice market, allowing gambling, speakeasies, and prostitution to flourish relatively out in the open. In 1910, drillers looking for natural gas accidentally struck an ancient deep underground seabed. Today, that geothermal water feeds the Temple Gardens Hotel and Spa, home to Canada's largest therapeutic geothermal mineral water pool. The naturally heated water travels via an insulated pipeline, retaining a therapeutic temperature of roughly 111 degrees Fahrenheit that is continually refreshed. Public admission is available, Facilities also on site include a spa, a lounge, and a couple of restaurants, and a hotel with 181 rooms and suites, some of which are equipped with private jetted tubs fed directly by the resort's underground mineral water source. A convenient, fully enclosed overhead skywalk connects the hotel directly to Casino Moose Jaw. You truly can't miss Mac the Moose, standing 32 feet tall on the grounds of the Visitor Center at the intersection of Highway 1 and Thatcher Drive. Mac is a massive steel and concrete sculpture, officially verified as the world's largest moose. It's a mandatory photo op for anyone passing through. Next to Mac, you'll also find a plane from the Snowbirds, Canada's iconic military flight demonstration squadron, who are based locally in Moose Jaw. The city's premier visitor attraction is the Tunnels of Moose Jaw, a year-round underground experience where visitors are led by costumed actors through historic subcellars, basements, and hidden tunnels beneath the city. You can choose between different theatrical storylines. The Chicago connection casts you as a bootlegger trying to buy hooch from Al Capone's syndicate, tapping into local legends that the gangster himself hid out here. Tickets cost $26.50 Canadian, or less than $20 US at today's exchange rate. We mention it because it's a unique experience that was rather well done. Unfortunately, we can't show it to you because photography and videography during the tour is prohibited. But we can show you the Western Development Museum in Moose Jaw, which is dedicated to preserving and telling the history of Saskatchewan through transportation on the vast landscape of the Canadian prairies from the turn of the century onward. It houses a sprawling collection of vintage automobiles, massive steam locomotives, and an aviation gallery detailing prairie flight history. The Snowbirds Gallery features a dedicated display honoring their hometown aerobatic team. The Railway Gallery highlights the critical role played by trains in the development and population of the prairie. The Classy Cars exhibit presents vintage automobiles spanning 70 years. These vehicles were chosen for their innovative design, exceptional engineering, and quality performance, with some being exceptionally rare. The museum's aircraft gallery showcases the region's aviation history, highlighting both civilian planes and those that flew as part of the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan during World War II. In addition, on select seasonal weekends, the museum operates the K&S Potash Canada Shortline 101, which is Saskatchewan's only operating steam locomotive. The museum is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but closes on Mondays during the winter months. Adult admission costs $14 Canadian, or around $10 US at today's exchange rate. Expect to spend 2 to 3 hours exploring their exhibits. We're going to get packed up here and head north to another lakeside provincial park in Saskatchewan called Blackstrap, just south of Saskatoon. But we're not going to bring you that episode for 2 more weeks, because next Wednesday we're going to bring you Grand Adventure's RV News Roundup for the month of June. So if you're not yet a Grand Adventurer, there is no better time than right now for you to go smash that little subscribe button and ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a Grand Adventure, which we premiere right here every Wednesday evening. If you enjoyed this episode from Buffalo Pound Provincial Park and Moose Jaw, please be sure to give us a huge thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comment section, where we'd love to hear from you each and every week. We'd also be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. So until next Wednesday, please remember, life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.